out there, YouTube?
What's up out there, everybody?
This is SCL0320.
And this is Joe Johnson 030.
Representing JBS. We are back for a early screening review for an interesting suspense thriller. It's not necessarily a horror film that you might think, but the name of it is... What is the name of it?
Wait, you said dope.
I was trying to... Never mind. It's a play on words, don't breathe. I took a breath, but never mind, it didn't work.
We tried though.
We tried to give y'all entertainment. Anyway, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. Yeah. We're going to try to dissect it as best we can. I actually, before we even get into this, I was really entertained by the movie. Like, a lot of the things that happened weren't just surprising jump scares. They were actually smartly shot. And I think that a lot of the things that happen really get the crowd like involved. Like, I think this is a movie that kind of like in the realm of like Disturbia, where it wasn't like a big, you know, philosophical thriller, but it definitely kept you engaged throughout most of the film for me. We had a couple of different moments in the theater. It was pretty funny.
I was in it.
Yeah.
I was in it. I mean, this, because like the whole, I guess, kind of scare tactics that they use in this movie is not really, it's not really like what you're used to seeing as far as like conventional like horror films or thrillers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like most of the times, like you can almost guess when something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
In this film, they don't give you any cues. Like stuff just comes.
It just happens.
And it's not even like over the top stuff. It's just like maybe it's a gunshot or maybe. Well, the whole, I mean, you guys probably saw the trailer. It's like, don't breathe. The guy's blind. You have to be quiet. So any sudden noise like made by the characters, the main characters, you're like, oh crap, is the guy here? Did he hear that? And so it's things like that kind of keep you on edge the entire movie.
Yeah. Like most of the movie, and we haven't even gotten into the concept of the cinematography, but the whole premise behind the movie is you don't know what he can hear and what he's doing with the characters, the three main characters in this movie that break into his house. It's like we literally are left in the dark, just like he is. Like he's bringing the audience and these people into his world because he knows this entire house, and it's like the way that you feel. That's why I feel so spontaneous and so different. Is because the smallest little thing you're like, wow, how did this happen? Like, what's going to happen next? What can he hear? What is he doing? And I think that plays a lot of role on the cinematography. I think that the cinematography, the shots and the angles for this movie were so well placed, so well done. Even the opening pan shot that takes place high in the air and then secludes you down all the way to the very, like, street level. And you're like, you see him, and he's like, what is going on? And then from there, that's when the actual movie goes off. But every single time something happens, the camera angle picks up on different levels. Like it might be going through 3 different floors. It might be like somebody's falling somewhere and you see the camera right here, so you don't know what's behind the other character. And that's a fresh tactic from the past, but the way that they utilize cinematography, I think they did a really good job. Even the score, I think they did a good job. I don't know, you have anything to add with the cinematography for this movie?
Yeah, it's very well done. I completely agree with you. It's very well done. There's actually a couple of shots in the film that I was like, how did they shoot this?
Yeah.
The one where they shot like under the bed. If you guys watch the film, you'll know what we're talking about.
Because it's so seamless how they do it.
Exactly.
Like the transitions from room to location to person. It's really seamless how they do it.
Yeah, because there's like different like nooks and crannies like to the guy's house.
Yeah.
And the way they they actually pan through like some of these tight areas in the house, and they're like, how the heck did you do that? Yeah. Yeah. Cinematography, boom.
But I mean, cinematography is one thing. You got to have good actors, and I think that we can both say that Scott Lang nailed the scare factor of this movie is definitely his character. He's so unpredictable. He has an interesting military past that we're not going to get into here. And a lot is left out into the open of like, what is he going to do with these characters? And that's the thing though. When I went into the movie, I saw from the trailers, I was like, I see 3 people. I see Jane Levy plays the character Rocky, who's got an interesting backstory. She's a cool, interesting character. You got Dylan Minnette, who plays the role of Alex. It's kind of like the person that's doing kind of more of the reconnaissance sides. And then you got Money, that's played by Daniel. I think I'm gonna get his name wrong. Zavato. He's kind of like the one that's kind of the lead of this whole entire thing. And I was like, it's only 3 guys. It's only 3 characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can really keep me entertained throughout the whole one? And I can say they didn't even need all of them to really, truly keep me entertained. I think from a director standpoint, I think that he did a good job with these actors. But I think that Scott Lang, like, even his voice, the things that he does, and the dedication of being somebody that's blind, there's certain things he just can't do, but he can do so much more because he can hear. And it's like, because of the environment around him, it's like, it's pretty good. I think they did a really good job. I don't know, what did you think about the acting? I mean, everybody else is kind of so-so, but I was rooting for them a lot of times, and then I was like, you're being stupid. So I don't know, what did you think about acting for this?
I think the acting was, I think it was, there were some moments I was like, okay, this is kind of corny.
Anybody could have played that role.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that. I think the girl, I think she did a good job. What's her name?
Her name is Jane Levy.
Jane Levy. I think she did a pretty good job. Now there were some scenes that she was kind of like her dialogue where I thought was kind of corny or cliche.
Yeah.
But I think that was not her fault. I think that was like writing and where it was placed.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think she did a good job. I think she definitely has some really good acting talent. I will agree with you. It is kind of like the film where some parts you're like, yo, what are you doing? Like, this is the stupid decision.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there were other parts of the movie that I thought, oh, that's really smart how they interwoven this situation, how they explained it from the main character's logic.
Yeah.
I'll kind of leave it there.
Yeah, and I'll say this, moving into, I guess, the story. The director's name is, I'm getting these names all wrong. Fede Alvarez, and he's directed a movie such as Evil Dead. He was the director and he was a screenwriter, and he also did the screenplay for this movie as well. And I think he did a good job from the directional standpoint of keeping me entertained throughout the whole entire movie, and really just on the backs of really 2 main characters and an antagonist. Like, I was like, how do you keep me that entertained? And I was like, the last movie that did that to me was Disturbia. Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf, some random girl I'd never remember again, and then a villain, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, I mean, they at least had like a mom, they had a funny character. This didn't even have that. And I think that when I looked at Disturbia, I was like, that's a movie I can look at over and over again from a suspense standpoint, from an intrigue standpoint. These characters are not necessarily lovable, though. That's the thing. And I don't think they're meant to be. I think that they're meant to be conflicted characters that dealing with life circumstantial decisions that are putting him in this situation that they're in. Because honestly, them even going into this house and kind of being friends that are trying to break in to make ends meet to do this and that, that's classic, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of horror movies kind of based off of that. But this one, unlike Disturbia for me, this doesn't have necessarily the happy-go-lucky ending. Doesn't happen to like be just this glorified, like, man, this is gonna work out for this character. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of surprises that I think add maturity to the film. But I think from a likability standpoint, some people are gonna be a little jaded with some of the things that happen towards the end of the film. So I don't know. I was very entertained by the movie, but I think that there's certain things that could have taken place to not platform this to make it as a sequel kind of thing. That would have made it such a better film. But I really enjoyed it. I don't know. What do you think about the story and your final thoughts on the movie, man?
Oh man, I think for the story, one thing, if you guys watch the film, and I would recommend this film.
Yeah.
One thing that they did a really good job is there's a huge twist in the plot and kind of like who you kind of think the villain is, or who you think yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. And then, and like what that person's capable of.
Very true.
There's a huge twist, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then it'll have everybody in the theater like tripping.
But there's two, cause it's something that happens with two of the characters that you don't like. What happens next? And both of them have to do with two main characters. I thought that those two moments was like, okay, I can definitely watch this again. This is something that was very entertaining. I don't want to spoil it, but
So I think story wise, like the plot twists were huge, huge thumbs up. I think as far as towards the end and the characters and where they might have gone, you know, I definitely have mixed feelings about some of the decisions that they've made, and you know, but it's overall I don't think that overshadows the movie itself.
No.
So overall I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely one you can, you know, purchase when it comes out on a hard copy, and you know, show it to your friends. So like one night, you know, you guys just like watching like a film, horror film festival thing, and it's a good one for the collection, I would say.
Yeah,
it's a good one for the collection.
So what rating do you give it?
Oh man, I would have to give it. I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm torn. Like I feel like I want to give it a little bit higher because from a suspense thriller standpoint, I haven't gotten a good suspense thriller in a minute. Like real talk. And this kind of had a lot of horror elements without it being like a science fiction-y horror driven movie, you know. And I think that they made some really good choices with Scott, but then there were certain moments where it's like some of these characters weren't even needed, you know. I don't know. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I actually did really enjoy it. Maybe if I watch it again, take a little more time to let it marinate on me, it might become a classic to me. I don't know. But it'd be for me between an 8.5 and an 8 out of 10. You definitely should go check it out. Take your girlfriend, take your boyfriend, whatever. And if they're interested in suspense thrillers, they'll get a kick out of this. But be forewarned, this is a rated R film. There's a lot of jacked up stuff that are implied that happens. And it's not for the faint of heart. And if you're kind of a worrywart as far as gore, you know what I'm saying, like, be forewarned. So, but it's not so grotesque that it's like it takes you out of the film either, though. So that was my final thoughts. That's Joe's final thoughts. Hopefully you enjoyed our review for. Don't breathe. Anyway, it still ain't working. All right, y'all. Peace.